Hello YouTube world, welcome back to how to build an F-14 Tomcat. Yeah, so I finally got back from Florida. Had a great time sitting in the hotel room doing absolutely nothing. But as you can see, we've got a big blank piece of white shelving board in front of us. So for those of y'all who have been watching and keeping up with B1 Bob, you know white shelving board means parting planes. I'm not going to spend a whole lot of time explaining how or what or not whatnot on what they're for, and well, if you're watching the videos, you've probably been keeping up with Bob, so you know what they're for. I just kind of show you little things I do different. A lot of guys use clay to get a really nice tight fit around the part. I actually use body filler. That way you get a really nice crisp line. It's a little bit more work, but with power tools it makes it easy. So first off, just regular old white shelving board. Nothing really special about it. It's about 3/4 of an inch thick. So yeah, we'll get some parts and start cutting some stuff out. So I've already got a couple of these made, sort of. But what I'm going to do is just kind of show you a quick rundown without actually running through the whole process step by step. So we've got our parting plane board. We've got our part, in this case the ventral fin. So now that we've got those two parts that we want to do, what I do is I take a Sharpie marker, if I can find the right one. It's a extra fine point permanent Sharpie marker. I don't know if y'all better read that or not, but you've got two different kinds of ultra fine. Well, you have the ultra fine, notice the black tip here at the end, and then you have the extra fine. Notice any difference? Yeah, there's not a whole lot, is there? So what you do is when you pop off the tops, you see the difference. You got the ultra fine and the extra fine. You see the difference in the tips? You want to use the extra fine, not the ultra fine. Extra. Remember, extra. Granted, it doesn't really matter because you're going to cut it out, but these I like because they actually help you get a good little good outline of your part. So is your part in place? With this one, I'm just going to run a little bit over an inch, just kind of eyeball it. And what I'm going to actually do is I'm going to take this is why I say extra fine, and you're going to actually sight from the top down the edge. It's pretty much a straight line. So if you sight right down the edge of the tip here, you can actually get a really close outline of your part. So holding the part in place, I'm just going to sight down it, and I'm just going to trace around the part, making sure it doesn't move. With some of these really long straight edges, you can just kind of hit the edges of it and not worry too much about it. And then for the curves, just follow it around. Again, you don't have to be perfect with it, but the closer you are, the less work it is in the long run. So there's that, and then just using a straight edge on these really long straight edges, I'm just going to connect the two dashed marks. So there's the outline of your part on your parting plane. Now if you were really smart, when I made this part and I actually took the paper template to make the plywood core, I would have saved the template, and then I could have just used the template to make out this outline. But since I wasn't thinking that far ahead, a little bit more work, but you actually get a little bit better because the part does grow a little bit with the litho plate. So now that we've got our the outline of a part done, what I typically do is get a brand new drill bit. This one is a 1/2 inch, and I go around everywhere that has corners and just drill there for a jigsaw to go in. And then you can cut around on the, I actually cut away the line, so I cut on it, and I just go really slow and make sure I stay on that line as perfectly as possible. One little trick that I found actually helps a little bit is when you have really thin areas like this this tapered edge. If you actually cut this part of your line on your parting point, if you actually cut it at an angle, so it angles in towards the center of your cutout, it actually helps you kind of support that really thin edge. So you get your cutout in there, and to save time, instead of y'all just being bored watching me use a jigsaw, I have something else. So with a V1 Bob style BAM, we've got a parting plane with a hole cut out in it. Whoopity doo, right? So let me elevate this off the table just a little bit. So now we take our part and you just kind of drop it in the holes, and as you see, there's a nice little bit of a gap all the way around it. And you're probably wondering, how are you getting the part to stay in there when it's just cut straight? Well, what I'll do is I waxed all of these parts before putting them in, and then I just took hot glue and I just put little dabs. Whoops, I want to drop that. But I just took little dabs and I put it about 3 on the trailing edge and 3 on the leading edge there. And what it does is it holds the part in the position you want it. So you're running down the center of the leading edge and the center of the trailing edge. So now you've got your parting plane cut out. You've got your part elevated at the right height in the parting plane. So you part it at its widest point. So now the only thing left to do is to go around and fill in these gaps. And like I said earlier, I've already waxed the rudder in this instance, and I've also got the horizontal stab done as well. So the next step is to fill in our little gaps. Now earlier I said some people like to use clay because it's cheap and it's easy. Well, I use body filler just to get a really nice crisp line, because you can fill in these gaps with the body filler, pop your part back out, sand it smooth with the top of the surface, and what you're left with is a really nice tight fit all around your part, compared to the clay where you might smush a little bit or you might quite not get it cut completely. So if you're really good like Bob, you can get a really tight fit with the clay. But if you're not quite as good like I am, body filler a little extra work because you got more sanding to do, but it's a really nice tight fit. And for this, I just use a regular BM or 3M body filler. There's nothing special. I'm not using the Easy Stand stuff because it's a little bit more expensive than this. I think that little tube was 55 bucks. This is like 25 bucks. So a big difference in price. From what I've noticed, there's really no difference in strength. So now we'll mix up a little bit of body filler. And you notice I'm just reusing the same old piece of crap cardboard that's been used who knows how many times. This stuff's actually been sitting for a while, so I'm gonna stir it up. So while I stir it up, I'm gonna pause you guys and I'll be right back.